right, welcome in. Happy Thursday. You're listening to Knowledge is Power. Tonight's Thursday night. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host. Tonight is Thursday, October 4th. Okay, Curtis has to remind me of these things. Hey, Curtis, how you doing this evening?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. I'm back after my break. And, before I get into the show, I was out last Thursday because I had some engagements or some obligations. But I went down to the book signing for Helen and Barbara Shores, a book entitled The Gentle Giant of Dynamite Hill. His two daughters wrote a book recalling the life and times of their father, the late, great Arthur Shores. And I would encourage all of you to buy a copy and read it and keep it in your family library. It's an interesting retelling of the history of Birmingham some 50, 60 years ago. And as we approach the anniversary of 1963, I think all of the information that you can get to share with your children, and it is critical, it is extremely important that you get these, this book and these materials, and you take the time to talk to and educate your children about Birmingham prior to Martin Luther King. So I encourage you to go out and get a copy of The Gentle Giant of Dynamite Hill, the story of Arthur Shores as told by his daughters, Helen Shores Lee, Judge Helen Shores Lee, and Miss Barbara Shores. Also on that same night, the wife and I had an opportunity to attend the play A Color Purple at the Red Mountain Theater downtown 19th Street between 3rd and 4th Avenue. The Color Purple had an all-local cast, and I want to tell you, if you have not been, by all means, go. Birmingham has so much talent. It is just amazing how these young people performed. I went opening night, and the cast received a 10-minute standing ovation at the end of the show. My friend, Dr. Huntley, went a few days later, and he came into the office raving about the performances, about the excellence of the talent. So go out. It's running through October the 14th. Go out and see The Color Purple. And I'm sure that you will come away with a new appreciation for the level of talent that we have here in the city of Birmingham. And with that appreciation, I would hope that you would continue to support the theater and the arts and promote our culture. We are the dominant population, so we should be the dominant culture as well. So go out and see The Color Purple and get to know the cast, particularly Cecil Washington, who plays Mr. He is a Broadway caliber talent right here in Birmingham. So I encourage you to go out and enjoy it. Take the wife, take the children, in-laws, whoever. Just go out and see it before it ends on October the 14th. I assure you that you will enjoy The Color Purple. Now, for our regular listeners, those of you who are out in traffic, as usual, you know we want to admonish you to be careful. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road. Put the cell phone down. You are allowed to turn the radio up because we want you to hear and participate in Knowledge is Power. And for those of you who are home, sitting down to the evening meal, you know we always encourage and invite the young people to sit around and listen to what we like to call grown folks conversation. And should you feel so moved, don't hesitate to pick up the phone. 741-9288 is the number, and we will welcome any call from our young listeners who feel so moved to participate. We've got a number of things going on in Jefferson County, city of Birmingham. We've got elections coming up. We've got continued ignorance and stupidity going on down at the county courthouse. But on a lighter and brighter note, it's homecoming out at Miles College. And I want to encourage all of you, gather up the children, make it a family outing. Go out to Fairfield, take a seat in the bleachers, tailgate up on the hill, because the Miles College Golden Bears are 4-1. They're going to run through the SIAC and be in Atlanta in a month or so for the SIAC championship. And we need to celebrate and support Miles College. Dr. French and his staff are doing great things out there. I understand that they've just announced a $20 million capital fund project that will include new dormitories. They're up to almost 2,000 students now. So there are great things going on out there in Fairfield, and certainly we want you to support, participate, and appreciate the wonderful things that Miles College is doing. And it would be wonderful if about 50,000 of you showed up out there on campus Saturday to watch the Golden Bears defeat, I don't know what's Clark symbol mascot. Anyway, they're playing Clark, Atlanta University. So go out and take the family and spend the day on campus there in Fairfield at Miles College. Well, having said all of that, tonight there is another in a series of community meetings concerning the continuance of Cooper Green Mercy Hospital. I encourage those of you who are aware of it, and I apologize because I don't have the church name and address, but Dr. Huntley will call in about 6:30 and give us all of that information. But it's imperative that you get involved and participate. These people are hell-bent on destroying this hospital and destroying this county, and we're going to get into a detailed discussion about the insanity that's going on at the courthouse. But in the meantime, we need you to rally in support of Cooper Green Mercy Hospital. I know that you got a good job and you got Blue Cross Blue Shield and you feel secure, but I know you've got your mother's brother's children who maybe not as fortunate as you. You've got somebody in the family who's going to need the Mercy Hospital, and this reckless, dangerous path that these revisionist zealots have put us upon here in Jefferson County is only going to work to your detriment. So it is imperative that you get involved, that you wake up, get up, stand up, and engage so that we might be able to prevail here in this valley, this city of Birmingham, this county of Jefferson. It is imperative. There's no place to park. There's no place for you to sit down. There's no place for you to relax. The forces of evil are on the march. They are determined to destroy and to disrupt life in this county. And if you don't engage yourself immediately, then you have only you to blame. So don't call this radio program or any other radio program complaining if you have not been downtown to protest, if you have not been to the county courthouse to commission meetings to demand redress of your grievances. Then you have absolutely nothing to say. You just accept whatever they force upon you. But you have heard me say many times on this program that the moment that you fail to involve yourself in things that matter in life, you die. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you live. But the moment that you refuse to engage yourself in the issues that matter to us and to humanity, you die. So get it in gear, especially all of you who are veterans of 1963. You know that we left the job undone. And it is imperative, and I'm calling upon all of you who are veterans of 1963 as we approach the 50th anniversary. I know you're all retired, you don't have nothing else to do but finish the work that you started. Show your children how important it was and it is that you finish the work that you started. At some point in this program, we're going to play excerpts from speeches from Dr. Martin Luther King, who walked the streets of Birmingham, who resided in the city jail for you. You would not be enjoying whatever it is that you're enjoying today had he not come this way. So you have an obligation. You have a debt. All of you who are veterans of 1963, and I know there's a bunch of you out there, because as soon as we start talking about it, you want to tell your story about what you did during the movement. So now you get up and demonstrate to your grandchildren what it is to actively engage in a participatory democracy and bring about change, positive change for this community. It is imperative that you do so, because the forces of evil, the forces that want to take you back, the forces that want to take their country back, that want to take their county back, that want to take their city back, they're active. They are active. They never cease. They are determined that you are not true Americans. You are not entitled to any freedoms. You're not entitled to any rights. Certainly not any rights that they don't grant you as property. So I don't see how you can rest. You have to be aware of what's going on. You see what they're doing at the hospital. Absolute, total chaos. Before we go to break, I want to read you an article that appeared, well, the Birmingham News doesn't print on Thursdays, but it appeared on AL.com. Most of you, and probably all of you, I know I have the most intelligent listening audience anywhere in the country, so all of you are aware that on yesterday, Governor Bentley stated to the press that he wanted to try to mediate some kind of middle ground because he loved Cooper Green Hospital. He recognized the necessity and the value of that hospital, and he wanted to see it remain open. Well, your illustrious county commission president stated, "While I respect the governor's opinion on Cooper Green, the commission was elected to make decisions based on facts." Now, whenever somebody starts talking to you about facts in a situation like this, you know they're lying. But anyway, He said, elected to make decisions based on facts, not opinions, said Commission Chairman David Carrington. The facts are the current Jefferson County indigent health care delivery system is broken. I'll get back to that. Anyway, he said it's broken, costly, and unsustainable. As such, a new strategic direction that will expand primary care and outpatient services was adopted by the commission and is being implemented by the county manager. That's David Carrington. David Carrington is probably the most dangerous individual in Jefferson County. He has a very warped view of this community, maybe even this world, but I haven't heard him talk about the world yet. But I know his view of this community is extremely distorted. I also know that he is deviously clever. On previous programs, I have compared him to a comic strip character by the name of Lex Luthor, who always had these ingenious ideas that were always screwed up. But, ingenious nonetheless, just screwed up. Carrington has been on a mission to destroy Jefferson County. And the problem that I have is that you, I'm talking to you, are allowing it to happen. See, this is how Germany went along willingly with the wishes of Adolf Hitler in determining that the Jews were worthy of extermination. When you get these kind of warped individuals in positions where they perceive themselves to be omnipotent, they start carrying out these insane concepts that in their mind are perfectly rational and logical, but they're insane. And this entire effort at Jefferson County, when we come back after the break, I'm going to go through a litany of things that this three-man commission has done. They've all been screwed up, warped, detrimental to the people that they are sworn to serve and to protect. But the problem is with you. Somehow the game on television is more important. Somehow Dancing with the Stars is more important. And it isn't until you feel that pain in your chest and you need to rush to the emergency room and you realize that because of David Carrington and Joe Knight and Jimmy Stevens, the emergency room is packed. All the doctors are occupied with those 50,000 people who have blue cards from Cooper Green, and Cooper Green no longer exists. When you realize that the doctor at St. Vincent's and Brookwood and Princeton have just been overworked, they're tired, they quit for the day, and the only thing left is a first-year medical student who has the grunt duty, and he's been working for 3 days, and he's half asleep. You are being put in imminent danger by the insanity of this Jefferson County Commission, and yet when John Rogers, Mary Moore, Marilyn Mosley, Sheila Tyson, and the other loyal representatives of your community stand up and protest, they do it absent you. Now, what is it that you're doing that's so important that you can't even stop for a moment to save your own life? Oh, I know, Richard just being, he's just exaggerating it. That's not going to happen to me. Oh, yes, it will. And it can happen to you. You can stick your head in the sand. You can ignore it all you want to. But if you do not engage and address this elected body to make them understand that you were not put there to make tough decisions that work to the detriment of the people that you're sworn to serve and protect. You were not put there to enforce some warped ideology upon the people of this county. Now, I don't know what it is that y'all talk about over there in Vestavia Hills that makes you think that you know better how to deal with our lives than we. But I want to tell you now that as long as we broadcast, we're going to let the people know that there is insanity coming out of Vestavia Hills that is working to the detriment of this entire county. And it is imperative upon all free people, all thinking people within this county to join with John Rogers and Mary Moore and Sheila Tyson and Marilyn Mosley and the legions of people who are fighting to defend you. Because trust me, this will impact your family in some way and in some fashion. You know, David Carrington says that the indigent healthcare system is broken. If it were broken, then the immediate response should be to fix it, not to replace it. Certainly not to replace it with something untested, something that has not worked anywhere else. We know that the indigent healthcare system, as it existed with Cooper Green as its center, did work. Could it work better? Everything could work better. Each one of us could be better. But we don't toss it out. We tweak it. We add to it. We work on it. We don't toss it out. These people have no idea what they are doing. They're motivated by economic opportunity. They have constantly tried to unearmark the Indigent Care Fund so that they could redistribute the money. And you've heard me say on this program that the amount of the Indigent Care Fund that is allocated to the hospital, and historically, all the county ever gave the hospital was between $38 and $40 million. Well, we now know that the Indigent Care Fund generates around $47 to $50 million annually. So the county has been taking $7 to $10 million for its own purposes, while accusing the hospital of not being able to operate within its budget. And I want you to, come by Commissioner Bowman's office. We'll show you the records. We'll show you that this hospital has been run effectively and efficiently by Dr. Hewlett, and that this entire effort is based upon a lie. And if this lie is allowed to stand, it's going to kill somebody in your family. Might not be you, your wife, or your children, but it might be your mama's brother's children, or your daddy's sister's children, or somebody who is in need of care, who is out of work, who are marginally employed, don't have enough insurance, who are going to need that hospital, and it won't be there. There will be individuals sitting in the waiting room at Brookwood, and St. Vincent's, and Princeton for 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 hours who will probably die in the chair because you were too busy. You wanted to watch the game. You had something else to do. You could not come downtown and make your presence felt, make your voice heard. People, this is serious. This is serious. And for all of you children of the revolution, for all of you who claim to be foot soldiers, for all of you who lived through the period when King walked in Birmingham, you are the ones who know better, and you are the ones who should do better. It is imperative that you engage and involve, because if you remain silent, then you're going to lift up your eyes in hell when God asks, where were you and what did you do when this travesty was taking place here in Jefferson County? All right, we're past the time for the break. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. But for right now, you're listening to Knowledge is Power. Because we're going to, Dr. Huntley calls in, we'll stop and get him. All right, take care. We'll be right back.
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The radio show that Commissioner Bowman and Congresswoman Terry Sewell appeared on Monday, they were interviewed by Reverend Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton, and he is very, very interested in what is happening in Birmingham, Alabama. He is so interested that he has said that he wants to come to Birmingham, and they are now talking about a time, and I think, well, not think, but they announced tonight, Congressman Terry Sewell's office announced that he will be here on the 26th of this month. And other material will be forthcoming. You can hear them in the background. They are talking now. He also is saying that he wants to see this on MSNBC.
Okay.
And we've gotten calls from New York Times, from CNN, even from I think we got a call from Yugoslavia and one of the African nations as well. People are interested in what's happening in Birmingham, Alabama.
All right. You know,
we are in the crucible of the struggle for human rights. We have to understand that. And that means that the world is actually looking at us. Now, let me just for 1 second, talk for a minute about this article that appeared on AL.com today. It is entitled Jefferson County Commission Responds to Governor Finley's Offer on Cooper Green. Yesterday, the governor said that he wanted to come in to mediate and try to help save Cooper Green. He felt that Cooper Green should, in fact, be an inpatient care center. Well, today, 2 commissioners made statements about that. One, Carrington, who's the president of the commission, he said, and I quote this, "While I respect the governor's opinion on Cooper Green, the commission was elected to make decisions based on facts, not opinions. The facts are the current Jefferson County Indigent Healthcare Delivery System is broken. As such, a new strategy direction that will be expand primary care and outpatient services adopted by the commission and is being implemented by the county manager." That is from the president of the commission. Then Joe Knight made a statement. He said, "The governor has not talked with me or other commissioners, and frankly, this is kind of the 11th hour for him to be saying this. The fact is that train has left the station." Now, if that is not arrogance coming from this commission, I don't know what is. But we as a people, we have a movement that is going on. We want people to get involved in this. This is happening in the very same manner that it happened in the 1960s. And we are employing everyone, the sound of our voice, to get involved. Richard, appreciate you having us on and giving this report. Let me get back in because there's some very important things going on. And if we get the opportunity, I'll call you back a little later.
All right. If anything breaks, give us a call back. We'll open the lines for you.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, take care. Now, Curtis, this is these three commissioners. I mean, it's almost like they were frozen in time 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And they wake up and they start doing the same crap that was going on prior to Martin King's arrival. And for our listeners, you've heard my outrage and my call for you to involve yourselves. But what's even more disappointing is that there is an absence of involvement by the clergy. It appears that the movement leaders are having trouble accessing churches. The preachers now want to rent the church to the movement. Now just imagine if in 1963, when we were having our organizing meetings, when we were having our mass meetings, when Dr. Martin Luther King spoke at the 16th Street Baptist Church and the overfull crowd standing out in the street had to listen over the loudspeaker to what he was saying. Imagine if the preacher at the church had said, well, King, you can't come in unless you rent the building. The church. This is madness. You know, these people who are stealing in the name of God.
What do Christians say? What are all the Christians?
It's a good question. Martin Luther King stood on the steps of the Capitol and dreamed of a day when his children would be judged by the content of their character. Now, I want you to judge these preachers by the content of their character. I don't care what their skin color is. Judge them by the content of their character. If they are men of God who are to be shepherds of God's people, and they want to rent the temple, what kind of insanity is this? And all of you who go into church to hear the choir, to be entertained, stop praising Jesus and start following Jesus. Do as Jesus would do. They used to have an armband saying, what would Jesus do? You ask yourself that question and you get up and do it, and you challenge these hypocrites in the pulpit who are buck hustling us to death, who have numbed us to the realities of the world, where you can get up and go to church on Sunday and not come downtown to protest this closing of the Mercy Hospital, and you call yourself Christian? You call yourselves followers of Jesus or believers of Jesus? And you see what is being done to the least of these? They were hungry. They were thirsty. They were in need of care. And you had not the time to see about them? You had not the time to address your government that was abusing them? I refer you back to the Jews in Germany when they knocked on their neighbor's door. And they said, well, certainly he must have done something wrong. They wouldn't knock on his door and come take him away if he hadn't done something wrong. And you did nothing. You did not inquire. You did not offer your help. You stayed quiet. And when eventually they come to knock on your door, who will be there to protest your arrest? Who will be there to protest your oppression? Because if you are not conscious enough to see what is being done in this county where you are the majority population, you are so enslaved mentally, you are so tied to that Lexus and to that widescreen television that you can't break yourself away to defend your neighbor. This is absurd. This is insane. This is ridiculous. How in the world can you consider yourself human? How in the world can you consider yourself rational, let alone educated or intelligent, and allow this to go on? It is way past time, and I want to talk to all of you, babies of the revolution, all of you baby boomers, all of you foot soldiers, all of you who left the job undone, to recognize that now is the time to finish it. Do you realize that if you are black and you live in Jefferson County, you have been paying taxes all your life. Your dad and your mama paid taxes all their life, and their dad and their mama paid taxes all their life, and all that tax money went to white folks. You can't get a contract with Jefferson County to do nothing. I don't care if you black and you went to Yale or Harvard. You can't do nothing for Jefferson County if you black, but pay taxes and fines and whatever else they charge you. Because in their minds, they are entitled to all the public money. And they have been taking the public money since this county was incorporated. You sitting around thinking because you black, you supposed to be poor. Because you black, you supposed to live in substandard housing. Because you black, you supposed to not care, I guess. That is slavery. You might not have a chain around your leg, but you certainly got a chain on your brain. It's time to break out of that ignorance. And you sitting around, Negro, calling yourself lawyer. You sitting around, Negro, calling yourself banker. You sitting around, Negro, calling yourself professional CPA, calling yourself this, that, and the other. And you can't do nothing in this county because of your skin color. And you accept it. You accept your place as secondary. The sign used to say colored and white. Now it says majority and minority. Same damn thing. Because you have accepted the title minority as a substitute for colored. Never mind that numerically you are the greater of the parts composing the whole. Mentally, you are enslaved. Mentally, you are the colored minority. And so Jefferson County can collect $600-700 million in taxes and spend it all with white people on goods and services. And I'm not hating on white people individually. I'm hating on white people, the system, the things that the system does. It's since this over 100 years since Jefferson became a county. All that money. And you have paid. Your grandparents paid. Your parents paid. Now you call yourself educated and you accept this. You willingly put yourself in a position of servitude to somebody based on skin color? Did you not hear anything that Martin said? Did you not believe anything that he said? You profess Christianity. Do you read your Bible? Do you understand it? Do you consider yourself to have been created inferior? Do you believe that you are in this trick you're in by God's design? You're in this trick you're in because you're ignorant and you refuse to learn better. We've got a crisis in our community now with young people rejecting education, preferring to be ignorant. We have serious problems on top of the fact that those of you who are supposed to be educated watching television, too busy to get up and redress your government. America offers an opportunity. And I know, Brother Sedana, that they wrote the Constitution for them and their posterity, but hell, they wrote it and I read it, and I'll take it for me and for my posterity. And we have to, as Dr. King did, demand that America live out its creed. You can't let no David Carrington or no Joe Knight or any other sucker of that creed block you from what is yours. You were born here, your parents were born here, their parents were born here, and you have been paying dues and taxes ever since. And we cannot continue to allow any group to disproportionately dominate our revenues and our government. It's time to be grown folk. You can't be children no longer. Put the Jack Daniels bottle down. Turn the blues off. Stand up and look to the heavens and fulfill your commitment to your God to be the best that you can be. And in doing that, you make your community, you make your street, you make your neighborhood, you make your city, you make your county the best that it can be because of your full conscious participation in our society. You got to wake up. You got to learn a new way. You got to teach a new way. And you have to accept that your God did not make any junk, did not make you less than, and that you are entitled to all of the rights and privileges that are due you as a citizen. Skin color does not entitle anybody to any damn thing. Now, you first take the shackles off your brain, get the foot off of your neck, stand up and declare before your God that you are his child and that you will not embarrass him by the way you are acting here in this town and in this county. Show your children how adult people stand up and accept responsibility and conduct themselves in a civil society in a civil manner, but you will not be disrespected, you will not be robbed, you will not be denied. It is imperative before you die and have to answer to your God, liberate yourself. Stand up. Stand up and show your children how to stand up for what is right, what is correct. And once you do that, then we begin to move not only this community forward, but this country and the world. Everybody is eagerly awaiting for the American Negro to come into his right mind. I want you to pray to God that tomorrow morning when you wake up renewed, refreshed, and in your right mind, knowing that you weren't born to be no drug addict, no alcoholic. You weren't born to be shiftless and lazy. You were born to be a shining example of the goodness and the greatness of God. And you have to declare that to every man, woman, child that you meet. You have to show yourself worthy. It is imperative that we in this valley recognize that we are in a time that matters. When Dr. King was on the street here, Dr. King went into the pool hall down in the basement of the Masonic Temple and told the hustlers that we're engaged in something that matters here. And you got to come out of the pool hall and you got to go out and you got to march and demonstrate your manhood, your adulthood, your humanity, so that we all are able to stand. And we must stand. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. The phone lines have been ringing off the hook. We want to get you in. We hope you'll be patient because I want to hear from you. The number here is 741-9288, 741-WATV. You heard from Dr. Huntley. There's a mass rally going on out in Woodlawn. Those of you who are in the area, show your face in the place. Participate. This is critical. This is crucial. If these people are convinced that they can walk on you and get away with it, trust me, they will continue to walk on you. You have to rise up. Dr. King said a man cannot ride your back if it is not bent. So straighten up. As Joel the prophet said, put some gristle in your back. Be a man, be a woman, be a child of God. You're listening to Knowledge is Power. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Talking about their job, their main concern about their job. And they're scared to talk out because they feel they might get fired. And the answer is actually addressing some problems that they're having. Mm-hmm. Dr. Hughes is talking now, telling them that they have problems that they need to ask questions and their jobs are safe if they do ask questions. Mm-hmm. But I would like for you to just give them a word of encouragement from the radio station and everything.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about it to our audience all evening.
Let me get this speaking.
Okay. Well, we're going to be holding on, listening audience. As you're aware, we are live in the mass rally in Woodlawn. There are several, there's over 100 people. There are several employees at Cooper Green who are concerned about their jobs. There is Attorney Emory Anthony, Dr. Hewlett, Dr. Humphrey, Sheila Tyson. Yes. Okay. And it's going to be imperative.
Here's Richard. Okay, Richard, you can go ahead and speak now. Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say good evening to everybody there. And I want everybody to understand that all of Birmingham is listening tonight. We're in support. I want you to stand strong and stand fast. We are doing everything within our power. The communications that were in the paper from AL.com from those two commissioners in defiance of the governor. It will not stand. We will defend Cooper Green Mercy Hospital. It will survive. We simply are calling upon everybody within the sound of this radio station to stand in support of you. We want to thank you and let you know that we appreciate your dedicated service to the poor and indigent population of Jefferson County. And it is our turn to stand and support you for all the things that you've done over the years in support of those who are less fortunate in our community. And through this radio program, we are calling upon all of the citizens of Jefferson County to stand with you. These commissioners who are misguided and misdirected, prejudiced and just backwards in their thinking and in their views, they will not stand. They will not win. You will be victorious. You will be restored to your rightful positions. You will be able to do what your mission is for the less fortunate in this community. Just know that we're with you. Stand strong. This is not the end. We will be victorious, and I want you to understand that and know that all of Birmingham are listening tonight. They're with you. And
all right. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's the magic of live radio. We were tied right into the rally over in Woodlawn, and I hope you're listening and you recognize that this involves real people. This group has fired approximately 2,000 individuals for absolutely no reason at all. Any reason that they give you is a lie. Everything that is happening in Jefferson County was avoidable. Every action that they have taken, Commissioner Bowman has opposed, and he has offered an alternative. Because of the color of his skin, these three individuals have decided to ignore anything that he says. Nevertheless, we say it, we put it in writing, we put it out there, so that history will know and you will know that there was always a better way. There was another way to go. There was no need for the destruction of 2,000 lives. There was no need for the destruction of this hospital. This mentality, this concept is born out of pure evil. All of this could have been avoided. These misguided individuals who think that I don't know what the hell they think, They're probably not thinking, but they cannot stand. And I want you to know that I know that you're listening, that you're monitoring the program. And I want you to take this in directly because this is very, very, very real. You will not stand. You will not succeed. You can harden your hearts. You can harden your position. But that's what is required for you to break, is that you be hard enough to be brittle so that you can be easily broken. And you will be broken. You will not stand. This evil will not win out in Jefferson County. And to our citizens, this is the importance of being an informed voter. This is the importance of being an educated voter. So you can't fall for signs and slogans and commercials. You've got to know these people. When you go in and you pull a straight line ballot one way or the other, you get all that comes with that. and you don't know you might be voting for the president or you might be voting for the mayor, and there are all kind of evil on the ballot that you don't know anything about, but you just going to vote under that one line. You have a responsibility to yourself, to your children, to your grandchildren, to be informed, to be intelligent, to be educated when you cast that vote. Because if you're not, then you get what we've got. And you have to suffer that until you can defeat it. Going forward, let's say lesson learned. And we won't allow the likes of these characters to ever surface again in public life. It is imperative. It is a matter of self-defense and survival that you educate yourself, that you inform yourself, that you be conscious daily, and you appreciate the freedoms that you have, and you understand that freedom is as fragile as life. You can be in it this minute and gone the next. So it is imperative that you get the most out of every minute, that you are conscious and that you fully engage and participate. Life is to be lived. Curtis tells me we've got a caller. Our number here is 741-9288, 741-WATV. We invite all of you to participate. We want you, if you don't call the program, to call your neighbor and tell them that Knowledge is Power is on the air and we're broadcasting live, and that they should be tuning in. Turn the television off. Pull the children in the room and let them listen. This is truly conversation worthy of the entire family, and it is time that we all be serious and engaged, because this matters. Caller, welcome to Knowledge is Power.
Yeah, about this cup of green, I hope that they could keep it open, for the will of the people who done been there and, got good service. But I never been to Cup of Green. I'm a senior citizen, and I've never been there, but I've been passing now. But I did have relatives went there, got pretty good service, but I never been there myself because I always just about had insurance. Back in the 60s, they would discriminate against us in these plants and things, but they did demand you have insurance. They didn't ask you, did you want it? They would just tell you what the premium is, because if you worked there, you had to have insurance. But it's a lot of people, need this service. However, I want to ask a question. Maybe you or some of the callers can answer. What do they do in cities like Mobile and Huntsville? What they do down there with people who don't have insurance? Do they have something similar to Cup of Green, or how that works?
Well, they all have a responsibility to care for the indigent. A lot of cities put it in their budget and have that money awarded to whatever hospital is available there, if there is a county hospital or if there is a hospital within the city. There is a charity so-called contribution that the cities make so that their population is covered. Jefferson County is unique in that we are the largest county in Alabama. So we are not only a payer, we are a provider as well. Several of the smaller counties pay. And I might add that counties in the surrounding area send their people to Cooper Green. And a lot of them owe Cooper Green money for sending people here. A lot of their police departments, a lot of the jails and so forth utilize the Mercy Hospital here in Jefferson County. So the extent and the value of the hospital is far beyond, the reaches of Jefferson County, and that is one area where reform can occur when.
Well, I just asked that question, because I didn't know, because, if you hadn't.
But all of them have some form of charity care.
Right.
It is just that Jefferson County is so large that we are a payer as well as a provider.
Right, yeah, if you hadn't been involved in something, you know, you just have to take the other people's word that have been involved. I've never been involved in Cooper Green, you know.
Well, we were saying...
I do take their word because they just tell my care say they got good service there.
Well, I would say that if you are concerned that you come to some of the rallies, to some of the meetings, come to the courthouse, you know, if you and show your face in support of the folk who are not as fortunate as you. That's the Christian thing to do.
Okay, then. I'll take your advice on it. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And one other thing I want to say, Curtis, we get a lot of times from people in our community, we hope things work out. People, hope is not a strategy. You need to participate with somebody who has a plan, who has a strategy. You need to be physically present. To simply hope that things get better very rarely helps things to get better. So if you sincerely want things to get better, translate that hope into action. Show up at the county courthouse. Attend the rallies and the meetings, because it is through civil displays. You know, we wouldn't enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy in Alabama today if Martin Luther King didn't come in here and urge us to be civilly disobedient. You have that right. You can stand up and demand a redress of your grievances with the government. If somebody has gotten elected that's going completely against your will and your wishes, then you can protest that individual. You can demand of that individual that they change their course of action. You can unelect that individual. You can demand the impeachment of that individual for not serving and protecting and upholding the Constitution as they were sworn to do. These are all things you don't have to accept. You know, don't tell me, well, they're going to do what they want to do. You know, no, they are not going to do what they want to do unless you just keep that ignorant attitude. You can make a difference. You can make a change. In 1963 and before, there were laws in place that said if you look like me, white people they didn't have to respect anything that you did or said. It was the law. And then, you know, this fella come up out of Georgia telling us that, well, if you stand up and you protest and you let the world see the evil and the wrong of the system that is in place, the pressure of the world looking in will bring about change. But if you just gonna sit down and accept it, well, you know, them just white folk gonna do what they want to do. Ain't nothing we can do about what white folk do. Well, if that's your attitude, then I'm here to tell you that you're ignorant. And if I offended you, that was my intention. You're ignorant. You can change all of this. You just have to straighten up and stand up and be engaged. If you call yourself a man, if you call yourself a woman, then you will not be tread upon by any other man or woman. We will respect the rights of each individual, and you will require of each individual that they respect your rights. That's just common sense, people. But if you so involved in getting your hair and your nails did, and and watching Dancing with the Stars and whatever other foolishness that you're engaged in, you're gonna lift up your eyes and you're gonna appear to be in hell. Because you did not appreciate what God had provided for you. You did not appreciate the opportunities. You refused a free education and did not demand that your children accept a free education. Ignorance is extremely expensive. You have to pay for ignorance every day. And here, education is free. So what kind of insanity is that? That you would allow your children, or your cousin, or your mama's brother's children, or your daddy's sister's children, you would allow them to refuse a free education. Every time I hear and think about, these two retards, and forgive me if I offended anybody, but this I can't think of them. I got a limited vocabulary. I can't think of anything. But these idiots, don't go out and hit an old white man in the head and take his wallet. What kind of money you think you're gonna get doing that? And then you get set off on a cross-county chase that winds up killing 3 other innocent people for that $20 that you got out of somebody's wallet. So now you in jail for the rest of your life, or until they decide to hang you or burn you or whatever they do with folk now. And if you got anybody who care, you're going to want them to, find some bond money to pay a lawyer or to do something. It's just stupid. And it impacts all of. We can't afford ignorance. It's just too expensive. And it's time that all of us engage. Chief Roper and Sheriff, whatever his name is. Just housing these folk and furthering ignorance and spreading disease. We can't afford that any longer. We've got to come up with some kind of method that if they do something stupid and wind up in jail, we've got to bombard them with some sort of knowledge 24 hours a day. They got to come out of there whenever they come out of there, with some concept of who they are and what kind of role they play in a greater humanity. We can't arrest them ignorant, house them ignorant, and release them ignorant. It's just too expensive. It's too dangerous. So now, Birmingham community, what are you going to do? Are you so comfortable in your retirement from the company with your Blue Cross insurance that you just figure, well, if I put some more burglar bars on the windows and doors, if I get me another shotgun and I sit up all night, they can't break in here? Because they're in your neighborhood. They're out there and dropped out of school. They can't read. They don't understand nothing. They're just barbarians walking the street. You can't assume that it's somebody else's problem because it's at your door. So this is a problem that we have within our community. And then we got these demons on the county commission who are further attacking us. So how can you rest? How can you be at peace in all of this peril when you're under attack from within and without? And it's all because you choose to be inactive. It's all because you want to stick your head in the sand and think that since you don't see them, they don't see you. And that's ignorant. Ignorance is extremely expensive, and we've got all we can afford here in this county, and it's time that we start turning that around. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. We're getting ready to take a break. You're listening to Knowledge is Power. Always know that Knowledge is Power is brought to you by the Committee to Develop Birmingham. The committee meets on the third Saturday of every month from 9 until 11 at the 5 Points West Library here in beautiful downtown 5 Points West. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host tonight. I'm in with the great Curtis Bell. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll open the lines at 741-9288, 741-WATV. I want to remind you that we are streaming live on the World Wide Web. We are being heard all over the world. You heard Dr. Huntley give his report from Woodlawn about the mass meeting there. They have been hearing from people in Africa. They have been hearing from people in the Middle East. They have been hearing from people all over the United States of America. The Reverend Al Sharpton has been broadcasting on his nationwide radio program, or if he's streaming like us as a worldwide program, that there is unrest, there is turmoil, there is evil afoot in Jefferson County. And within the next week to 2 weeks, the world will descend upon Jefferson County to stand for you. It is my hope, it is my wish, it is my prayer that you will stand for you. You're listening to Knowledge is Power. Tonight's Thursday night. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host. We'll be back.
I wasn't going to school because I was just making money stealing cars. And one day I was put into juvie for 2 stolen cars, robbery of a house, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, nobody cared. I was on drugs, and my mom didn't really care because she was on drugs. She was never home.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out. And now that I'm 15, I have 2 babies.
I was heading nowhere. I just thought the only way I can make something out of my life is if I get an education. One day I was locked up. That's when I really realized that, it wasn't for me. I was only in there 2 months, but to me that was enough. It'd be better for me to stay in school, just get my education.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself. Stay in school. Give yourself a chance.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Your right to exist in a free and fair society. Put the name of Reverend Ronnie Williams up there with those people who is dedicated day in and day out to fighting for your right to exist as a free person in a supposedly free society. But it is your responsibility to take advantage of the free education, to inform yourself, to enlighten yourself, to uplift your families, to make it a better world. The process of making it a better world starts with you making a better you. It's just that simple. You can go to any school around here, sign up, they don't ask you for a penny. Education is free. So if you can't read, if you're not functioning at a level that is satisfactory to you, and you sit around and watch some movie and you get caught up in this illusion of whatever narcotic or whatever it is you smoking, drinking, snorting, doing whatever that drives you out of your mind, that you think you can just go take something, You can go in somebody's house who's working hard to make a living and provide for their family and take something. You wind up getting shot down like a dog, being locked away like an animal. That's ignorant. It is just downright stupid. We can't afford stupidity in our community. And village, y'all quote that stuff with Hillary Clinton. Y'all act like you believe it, just like you're praising Jesus and not following what he's telling you. If you're going to be a village, you better get a hold to these children. Put them in school. Put them under somebody's control. Do it for love of them and for your own safety. We ought to be able to live as a civil people among ourselves. We've got to fight these forces of evil from outside that are constantly attacking and attempting to oppress and deny us. But we've got to uplift and educate and inform our own selves. We have got to build up in our people a sense of self-worth, of value, of dignity. We've got to, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, we've got to develop a character that we want to be judged by. Doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin. It's the content of your character, your ability to inform and to educate yourselves. Do that and be well. We'll see you in a week. You've been listening to Knowledge is Power. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host. I've been in with the great Curtis Bell. We'll see you in 7.
When I was young, I dreamed of being a cattle rancher.
I wanted to be a professional basketball player.
Children have many hopes and dreams.
But there is one thing that all children grow up to be: citizens.
Hello, I'm Justice Sandra Day O'Connor.
And I'm Congressman Lee Hamilton.
Young people are the future of our democracy.
But they won't just wake up one day and know how to run this country.
Each generation of citizens must be prepared to do its part.
Visit iCivics.org and centeroncongress.org.